Back live with Andrew Bolt with the Bolt Report.
Culture wars. And to our judges. Now, I know a few judges. Unfortunately, I know a couple of them better than I'd wished and planned. Some, the other ones, are very good people. So this is not a general spray. It's about the issues that two have now raised. We'll start with the first. Victoria right now has a particular problem with Sudanese gangs. Now, that's a community that's been brought here as refugees, but has a crime rate 6 times higher than for other Victorians. Now, when it comes to home invasions, aggravated burglaries, the Sudanese-born are actually 57 times more likely to be charged. It's astonishing. Now, I think this is a phenomenon worth discussing, not least because of what it should tell us about our refugee program. But the ABC's Four Corners program will tonight do a big tut-tut about reporting of African crime, aided in that by County Court Chief Justice Peter Kidd.
If you're an African youth of South Sudanese background from the western suburbs of Melbourne, rest assured your case will be reported upon. The media choose to report upon those cases. That creates an impression that our work, a very significant proportion of our work, is taken up with African youths from the western suburbs of Melbourne. That's a false impression. In this court, we're sentencing 1,600 people a year, and only a tiny proportion of those sentences receive any media coverage. They're often the sensational, the salacious, or the apparently lenient.
OK, it's a point. Joining me on Culture Wars is Rowan Dean, editor of The Spectator Australia and presenter of Outsiders here on Sky News, now on Monday to Thursday, the new time slot of 11 p.m, plus, as usual, on Sundays. And you had another ripper show on Sunday, Rowan. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you,
Andrew. Going back to the comment by the judge, does he have a point?
No, he doesn't have a point because he set up a straw man argument, Andrew. Now, I've got to be careful here. Let's be honest. You are down in the Socialist Republic of Victoria there. Up in New South Wales, we're a lot freer. We are allowed to criticise judges still. I think we still can. Down in Victoria, they're a little touchier, and if you criticise a judge, you might, you get into all sorts of trouble, as several politicians found out last year. So I shall preface my arguments by saying in no way am I referring to any specific judge whatsoever. I'm talking in more general terms, OK? Hopefully that'll tick that one off. But this character who's gone on to on Four Corners later tonight.
This judge,
so
this learned judge.
Yes, he sets up a straw man argument, saying, as if, which is that people are saying that all the court cases in Victoria are to do with Sudanese crime gangs. No one's saying that. No one's pretended that the courts of Victoria are awash with kind of Sudanese crime gang crimes and that the judges are all sitting there, oh my God, here's another Sudanese crime gang that we've got to deal with. No one's even suggesting that or put that argument forward. What people are concerned about is, as you rightly pointed out, the statistics show that certain communities, Sudanese communities, individuals from those communities are statistically more likely in Victoria to be overrepresented in crime statistics, sometimes quite staggeringly so. So what's happened? Why is this? And they point the finger at the media, but the reality is the media are only reporting these crimes not to be salacious, but for the simple reason that, A, we haven't seen these crimes before, or we don't think we have in Australia, these sort of large gangs of community. I mean, we've seen them, certainly Middle Eastern crime gangs, and I'm sure going back Italian gangs, and we had razor gangs back in the 30s. But what we haven't seen is the recent group of refugees from Africa, gangs. We haven't seen the gangs, for example, in New South Wales or Queensland amongst the Sudanese communities there. So why in Victoria? What is special about Victoria that you have this gang problem? Well, part of the reason it makes the papers, Andrew, is because for so long your government down there in Victoria and the media tried to hide it. And it's always the cover-up that gets you in trouble, not the actual event itself. So because so much effort went in from the Victorian media, from the Victorian authorities to suggest, oh no, there's nothing to see here. There is no Sudanese. Oh, there was a crime committed, but we're not quite sure who the individuals were. They were wearing hoods. It was under cover of darkness. We have no idea who these individuals were. Where bystanders were saying, well, actually, it was a gang of African Australians. So because they tried so hard to suppress it, it's only natural that people will go, hang on, I heard my neighbour, or I heard another instance where this gang, please tell me the truth. So all the media are doing is trying to make up for the fact that so many in the media, you remember Walid Ali, for example, or even Peter Van Onselen at The Australian, mocking the idea that there was any problem there. Walid Ali went so far as to say, well, I'm an African and nobody's asked me to join a gang, therefore it's all a beat-up. And I think Peter Van Onselen or some other media person said that they were, from outside Victoria, said they were sitting on their hotel room looking outside, looking for all the African gangs. I mean, this sort of stupidity is why people who are concerned, who live in areas where there have been shops raided, cars, carjackings, we've seen some terrible crimes, including obviously a murder. People want to know the truth. They want to know the facts. And if there is a problem within the Sudanese community that is leading to this overrepresentation in the statistics, we need to know what it is and how to fix it. But of course, the left don't want to hear this, Andrew, because we all know the answer, and it's that one simple word, assimilation, which the left are so terrified of.
I think that's probably correct. And I think the ABC was rather unfortunate in their timing, because on the weekend, no doubt, when their show was already cut and, in the reels, you had an African gang attacking chefs and waiters at a popular restaurant strip in St Kilda over the weekend.
Yes.
And,
exactly.
Quite extraordinary. And I think the judge is confusing what's causing this anxiety about this particular community. It's not the reporting, it's the actual events that are being reported on. Now, and you're right also to point out that the media was very loath, in fact, to report on this, dropping ethnic descriptors, not telling you who was responsible. Right. I mean, the opposite was true for so long.
Now, back live with Andrew Bolt with the Bolt Report.